Joining me now is author and political commentator Shemeka Michelle.
Shemeka Michelle.
Shemeka Michelle.
Shemeka Michelle.
When God looked at man, he said it's not good for man to be alone. He gave him a woman. He didn't give him a village. He didn't give him the community. He said, be fruitful and multiply to this man and this woman. So it's supposed to be God, husband, wife.
If you always do what you've always done, you will always get what you've always done.
Meanwhile, Nick Fuentes, who of course was glazed by Tucker Carlson rather famously. So Nick Fuentes has now announced that he is going to be launching an actual PAC, the America First Foundation. And apparently it is going to be supported by a variety of supposedly, quote unquote, America First figures. I say America First figures because, again, that phrase is semantically overloaded. Every American should believe that America comes first when it comes to our policy because duh. But what they mean by America First is not that. What they mean by America First is essentially a totally isolationist foreign policy, a complete overthrow of the idea of creedal Americanism, the idea that the Declaration of Independence actually defines what it means to be an American or the Constitution. And instead, it ought to be whatever Fuentes' peculiar definition of heritage represents. Apparently, according to the Free Press, the America First Foundation's latest tax filing lists Fuentes as its president, along with two board members. One is Jonathan Miller, a former White House correspondent for Blaze TV, who posted the day after last July's assassination attempt on President Trump. I'm not uniting with anyone except Christ and my brothers. I know stand with Trump, F the left, F the GOP, F the Secret Service, F the Jews, F democracy, God is with us. And also a white nationalist named Vincent James Fox, who has said he is part of the Christian Taliban. Now, why do I point this out? Because the left is cheering the stupidity of Republicans for doing this stuff. They are loving every moment of this, every single moment of this. Now, Fuentes wishes to bill, by the way, cleans out the actual principles of conservatism. Like, cleans it out. Legitimately, the only thing that you can say that Fuentes is conservative on in any sort of traditional sense is that he is anti-mass migration. That's pretty much it. On economics, he is not. And on social policy, by the way, he really is not. But to side with this, or to glaze it, or to side with those who glaze it, because, oh no, you might alienate the nuttier and idiotic parts of your coalition. Like, that's your politics? Really?
Welcome to Shaking My Head with Shemeka Michelle. I'm your host, Shemeka Michelle. And today I am shaking my head over free speech, but only if you agree. Thank you all for joining me today on this Thursday, which you all know is our Friday over here at Shaking My Head. It's the absolute last show of the week. And I'm actually excited because it's been a good week here, right? I think that it's been a really great week. And so we're wrapping up this week with a conversation a lot of people on the right pretend to care about: free speech. But what we've watched lately says something very different. Conservatives have spent years accusing the left of silencing voices, censoring dissent, and punishing anyone who steps out of line. But now it's happening inside our own house. Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Nick Fuentes, whether you like them or not, all of them have been attacked, demonized, or dismissed simply for having a different opinion, asking questions, or choosing America first over another country's interest. If we only defend free speech when it's speech we like, then we don't actually believe in it. Today, we're going to talk about that hypocrisy and why it's tearing the movement apart. I just shared Ben Shapiro talking about Nick Fuentes, and I actually think that was kind of mild, right? I thought it was pretty mild in reference to the kind of backlash we saw when Tucker Carlson decided to host Nick Fuentes in an interview. People pushed back. People were upset. People said that, Tucker was a Nazi. He was anti-Semitic. I saw all of this talk. When I had Charles Love on Tuesday, he gave us another point of view. Perhaps, maybe they're upset because they're saying Tucker only has on one type of person. He didn't know because he doesn't watch Tucker. But from my point of view, Tucker is a journalist. He's a journalist. This is what he went to school for. I work for a journalist. Jason Whitlock. I remember when people were so upset because he platformed Antonio Brown and was saying, why would you bring this guy on the show? People were curious on who Antonio Brown was. That's what journalists do. They research and get to the bottom of things and present these people or things to us as the audience. We get to decide. I don't understand why the right now, or as people would refer to them, the woke right, have this issue with people having free speech. And one of my frustrations when it comes to free speech, and actually tomorrow, we don't have Shaking My Head, but I'll post a link on my socials and also on YouTube, because I'll be doing a live stream with this lady. She's a psychologist. She wrote a book about free speech and why it's important psychologically. And I endorse the book. So I'm going to actually be on her stream kind of discussing the book tomorrow. It's 10 a.m. Eastern time, between 10 and 12. My time will be, I think, 10:45 that I'll be on there, because we're just going to be talking about her study on how free speech is so important to our mental health. So I find it very rich that we always hear, especially the left, because we know that liberal white women are documented to have more mental illness than any other group of people. But we know that they're always talking about mental health. Mental health is important. We have schools now, universities that have mental health days. I didn't have a mental health day growing up, but now schools have mental health days. They have days if the wind is blowing too hard that they don't want kids out there. We're just so concerned about mental health. Not saying I have an issue with it, but I do notice that these same people don't recognize or understand how important mental health is, or how important free speech is when it comes to mental health. And so I appreciate free speech, maybe because I've experienced how it feels to not be able to say what you want to say. For some of you, you know that I lost my Facebook page because I kept getting in trouble, kept going to Facebook jail. It started off with, I think 3 days, and then they would just keep increasing it every time I got in trouble. Then it would be a 30-day ban from Facebook. And I honestly, at the time, didn't know why. I didn't know that there was this attack against free speech. When I heard free speech, I truly believe speech was free. I actually thought that I could say what I wanted. Now, of course, you have to deal with blowback, people being upset and people not liking what you had to say. But I never thought it would get to the point where people would try and silence my voice. So I'm one of these people that I believe in absolute free speech. If I don't agree or I don't like what it is you have to say, I just don't listen. I truly believe that many of you who take the time to report people because you don't like what they're saying could actually just take your fat fingers as you're scrolling your phone and just continue to take that fat thumb and scroll past whatever it is you don't want to hear. But as someone who finally, I guess the last straw for me on Facebook was saying Father's Day was for men. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds far-fetched. I understand, because I thought it was crazy that I think the video reached 1 million. Maybe it had 2 million. I get my videos mixed up, but it had at least 1 million views. But I had so many women in the comments, and you can guess the particular type of woman that was in the comments. So many women in the comments angry that I said men couldn't be women and women certainly couldn't be men. And if women couldn't be men, there was no way for the woman to be both the mother and the father. So angry. These people in the comments were so angry that I felt women could not be the mother and the father. And they just started to report the video. Oh, I'm reporting this. Oh, this is BS. I'm reporting this. Literally got my video taken down, and I was thrown in Facebook jail for 30 days for what I thought was common sense, that women can't be the mother and the father, and women couldn't be men. I did not understand why that was so controversial. I didn't get it. Because at the time, I wasn't really into politics as much. I just was kind of going through life, doing life. And I thought some of the things that I said or the ways that I thought were common sense. I just did. Naive. Really giving people the benefit of the doubt that they were smarter than they actually were. I forgot that some of these people used to actually ride to school on the short bus. I forgot that some of these people maybe took class in the basement wearing a helmet and smearing shit on the walls. I forgot these type of people were like in general population. You know, the people that were in the low class or the slow class who couldn't really comprehend things being taught. I forgot these type of people were in general population now, and you couldn't tell on social media. Like there's no way to, there's no little notification that shows academic ability on social media. So I forgot that some of these people that couldn't get through a worksheet without an extra helper would act, I forgot they're on social media. And so many of these women, these certain group of angry, loud women were so mad that they reported my video, and any other thing I did or said that they didn't like, they constantly were reporting it. So the following year, because I had posted that video for Father's Day, the following year I felt I'm going to post it again because what I said made sense. Lo and behold, after that, I could not access my account again, my personal Facebook account, but I'm able to have one through the people that had access to my public figure page, my moderators or whatever on Facebook. But it just, for me, opened my eyes to the fact that when we say free speech, we don't really have free speech. And I have enough, I'm strong enough, resilient enough when people want to come against me for what I said, arguing their point against what I said. I don't have an issue with that. I posted a video saying that I wanted them to get all this gay shit off TV. I thought it was common sense that we don't have to see all types of lasciviousness on regular television. Because when I was growing up, you had to have HBO or Cinemax to see like naked people or simulations of sex. You didn't see that on regular TV. When you watched, or when I watched I Love Lucy, Lucy and Desi were in different beds. So we didn't see them pretending to have sex on regular TV. I didn't see Mr. and Mrs. Cleaver doing that, Mr. and Mrs. Brady. I didn't even see Mr. and Mrs. Cosby doing all of that. So fast forward to 2000s, 2015, 16, 17, whenever, I'm watching regular TV, a show that comes on at 8 o'clock with my then young underage daughter, and they are simulating oral sex, man on man, two men having oral, acting as if they were caught in the act of having oral sex. And I had an issue with that. And as someone, as Brandon Tatum would say, do content for clicks, I did a video discussing my outrage and my disgust for this type of stuff being shown on regular TV. And I said, get all this gay shit off TV. Then I went as far as to say, take it all off. We don't need to see that between two men, two women, a man and a woman. We don't have to see it. We have imagination. Let's put it to work. Let's go back to the days when you actually, had to pay for that extra stuff. I had so many people come after me because they said representation was important. And I was so confused because I was thinking, why does what you do in the bedroom need to be represented on TV? Regular TV that children watch. Of course, now we see what happens in these gay parades, and we understand why they love so much raunchiness, but that's another topic. I had so many people coming after me, some really popular gay influencers, trans influencers at the time. Just hitting me up, making their own videos, upset about what I said. I could handle that. I did a response video just pretending as if they were burning rainbows on my lawn, and I was afraid. Like, I can handle the pushback. Some of you may remember, as I talked about on Tuesday, when I said something about a popular comedian and all of her friends came to her rescue or her aid, mad at me. I can handle that type of pushback. What I can't handle is when people feel as if the voice should be silenced because they disagree with what's being said. I have an issue with that. And I will admit, I will take accountability that sometimes what I say is so over the top, make you say, oh my God, did she say that? I'll admit, sometimes I can be over the top, make you clutch your pearls. Did she say that? Yes, I did. I was banned from Instagram. I was banned going live on Instagram for an entire year because the popular singer at the time, Lil Nas X, came out with a song and a video or something where he was I don't know, it was like he was Satan maybe, and I don't know if he was stripping for Satan. I can't really remember. And I know at the time he had some type of shoes he was marketing with real drops of blood in it or something. It was something foolish. To me, it was outlandish, and I went live to discuss my disgust with the video, and I called him a do it in the booty ass nigga. I know that made people clutch their pearls, but I feel like we should all have the right to say what we want to say, even if people disagree and decide they want to come against the content of what we've said, and they want to battle that. Like, let's let it be a battle of the minds, a battle of the content. I don't like what you said, and so I am going to come against you by saying something else. By refuting whatever it is you have presented, I'm going to come against you and tell my side of the story. That's the way I feel like it should be. And so when I see conservatives claiming to be champions of free speech, yet they want to punish people when they don't like what's being said, I really give that a side eye. For all of the people that I am seeing consistently come against Nick Fuentes, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, I'm giving you the side eye. Because you're looking a lot like the left. And I'm just saying what it is. We are punishing people for questioning foreign governments, and I see absolutely nothing wrong with that. I don't know why people are so upset and have their panties in a bunch over this whole America First thing. It makes absolutely no sense to me that y'all are falling apart, snatching your hair out over America First. Y'all are getting upset when people refuse to take a party-approved stance. So if I, as a conservative, don't feel that, and I have told you all, I don't have a true concrete stance on the whole Israel thing, because I cannot afford to be so focused on a country I will probably never step foot in. So when I say America first, it's because I am focused on what things will affect me directly in a country that I'm in, that I walk around in, that I sleep in, that I have to get food in, that I have to take care of my family in. But y'all get upset when it's not a party-approved stance. Let me tell you, I don't give a fat baby's behind that people are upset or want me to take a hard stance on something that I'm just not going to take a hard stance on. I was on a radio station and was asked a question about how I felt about what was going on, and I said, I don't care. And it's not that I don't have compassion for other people. I can see what's going on in Israel, Gaza, the Congo, Nigeria, and still sleep well at night. Not miss a meal. That's me being honest. I can know that ICE is in my city, and I'm not breaking down and falling apart behind it. Are my children citizens, and are they safe? Yep. My man, my mama, my family, my friends, are they citizens and they're safe? Yep. I don't care. I don't care about nobody else. I'm not going to pretend like I'm missing sleep over it or crying about it, because I just don't care. So you're not going to make me take a position because the party wants to take a position on it. Republicans feel like it should be Israel first. And some people are going to say that's not what they believe. I'm just talking about what I see. You believe it should be Israel first? I believe it should be America first. Nick Fuentes believes it should be America first. Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying America first, America only. And y'all are mad because it's not a party-approved stance. It's called freedom of speech. If you have something that you disagree with, attack them on the issue. Not because you feel like you as a party should have your hand up somebody's ass, moving their mouth like a puppet and thinking that they're going to say or feel however you want them to feel and say whatever you want them to say. I'm not a puppet. There's not going to be a hand up my ass at any time. So this whole idea that, you know, people can't present things because it feels uncomfortable to you all, that's not freedom of speech. It's not. True freedom of speech is being able to say what you want to say. The consequences should not be cancellation. The consequences is calling that person to the carpet to have to defend their stance. If you disagree with the stance, that should be the consequence. And we've spent the last, 10 years calling people snowflakes when they come across soft because they can't handle certain things. But I'm seeing a bunch of snowflakes on the right. Just soft as pudding. Pudding pops, just soft, melting, weak. Because you want to control what somebody is saying opposed to coming against what's actually being said. And let me tell you, I think it is a very weak move to just try and tear their character down instead of actually discussing or debating the actual issue. At least acknowledge what's being said and debate what's being said in cahoots with tearing their character down. I love when, and I've told y'all, President Trump caught my eye because it was like me running for president. He just said whatever he wanted to say, and it was let the chips fall where they may. It felt like me running for president. I loved when he called, I think it was Adam Schiff, pencil neck. I loved when he would give people little names and he just did not care what he said. But he wouldn't just call him pencil neck. He would address the issue that he disagreed with and call him pencil neck in the process. But what I'm seeing is a lot of people just kind of leaning towards the whole pencil neck ideology, but not actually attacking the issues. When you just kind of go against the person saying, oh, they're crazy, oh, they're evil, oh, they're demonic, oh, they don't have common sense, you're not attacking the actual issue. And y'all have started to become a movement that's ideology. You're policing ideology instead of actually debating those things. This is how we get sharper. Iron sharpens iron. So if I have a way of thinking and I present this and you have a different way of thinking and you present your evidence, we should be able to, even if we can't agree, we can agree to disagree, because this is my stance based on my evidence. This is your stance based on your evidence, and we just aren't moving. But sometimes when you present the actual argument or the evidence, people can actually see what you mean and make a decision from that. But that's not what we're seeing here. Candace being attacked for questioning the official narrative around Charlie Kirk's death is silly to me. Candace should be able on her own platform to put out whatever she wants to put out. And for many of you who propped her up as this smart individual that you love, that was fighting for the right, and why you are trying to now call this woman that you call brilliant, you're trying to call her an idiot simply because you disagree with the information that she's putting out. It's laughable to me. As I said to you all on yesterday, just present some different information. You believe, how dare her talk about some Egyptian planes? Just put out the explanation to the Egyptian planes. You don't like Nick Fuentes talking about America first? Put out different information on why that could be harmful in your opinion, and let the people choose. But trying to demonize people, that's a weak debate tactic. That's a weak comeback. It's very weak. Tucker Carlson being labeled a traitor for opposing endless foreign entanglements. How is he a traitor? And to whom? To whom and why? Y'all are putting out very weak arguments. Who is he a traitor to? Zionists? Do you feel like Tucker was on your side at one point and now you feel like he's a traitor? Why is this man being called a traitor? How is he a traitor, and to whom? And whether you like Nick Fuentes or not, he has a really large following. And I think him being banned from platforms, events, or even by conservatives themselves debate his points of interest. Because just trying to silence the voice is weak. It's weak. And I don't care how many of you walk around talking about you are conservative, alpha males, you work out, you don't look dumpy and soft as the men on the left. You are weak if you cannot attack the points. That's where we should be. It should be free speech, not approved speech. What we're doing on the right now is approved speech. It's not approved, so don't follow them. Don't listen to them. If you do, we can't trust you. And you use the manipulation tactics against their followers or people who are interested in listening to them. You're using emotional manipulation tactics to try and get people to look elsewhere, when if you really wanted people to look elsewhere, present some different information. Talk about common sense. That should be common sense. Do you know no one had to tell me I shouldn't want to join the KKK? Nobody had to tell me that. Nobody had to say, you know what? I know you went and got this robe and this hood with the eyes cut out, but I can't let you get out there. Nobody had to tell me that. All they had to do was present information on why that may not be such a great idea, and I was able to make the decision on my own. Oh, they might burn crosses on the lawn of people because they don't like how they look. Oh, I could kind of make that decision on my own. You don't have to tell me or keep me from doing it. You give me the information, it's free information, and I get to make my own decision. I just had some facts about the KKK, which may be first of all, and I'm not saying they would have ever accepted me, you know. I'm no Clayton Bigsby. I'm just using that as an example. When you put information out there and that information is accessible to people, they get to make their own choice. It's just like the, what shall I call it? The joke poke. It was so frustrating when social media was removing posts because people were giving us a different take on the joke poke. And it was like pulling teeth to get other information. Thankfully, Twitter was kind of in its changing of the guard, and we got to see some stuff. But to silence the other side as we saw it silenced is just wrong. It's wrong. And so it frustrates me that the right, after dealing with this, is now doing it to their own people. That's a frustration for me. Argue the points. Truth requires some disagreement. You got to kind of filter and pull back layers to get to it. I don't know if that's the truth, but let me present something else. Y'all just want to disagree and shut the person up. Y'all don't want Tucker speaking at another event. You don't like that he has his own podcast. You're bullying people. Don't have Tucker on this platform or part of your event or else. Now, to some degree, you wouldn't have an outright dissenting voice, right? If you were having, I don't know, a trad wife conference, you may not bring in a porn star to speak. So I do understand there's limits, but that's just not what I'm seeing on the right as of right now. Censorship is censorship, no matter who does it. And I'm seeing y'all do it and think it's okay simply because you call yourself conservative or simply because you aren't on the left. But you have adopted the left's tactics. And if you say you haven't, you have. You're lying. You are lying and the truth ain't in you. Point blank, period. Y'all are doing smear campaigns instead of debating the actual issues. That's weak to me. Y'all are doing character attacks instead of debating the actual issues. People, I'm seeing people in my own comments. I did a reaction video to something Nick Fuentes said a couple of months ago. I'm seeing people still to this day tag me and just say he's a racist. You think if I commented on a specific topic that he was talking about and I could agree with the specific things that he was talking about, do you think you coming up here attacking his character, calling him a racist, or participating in a smear campaign is going to change my train of thought for what I said I agreed with in that particular video? You're not even coming with a comeback, a refute to the claims made in the video. It's just you ain't like it, and because you didn't like it, you don't want me listening to it. You don't want me siding with anything the man says. You don't want me siding with anything Tucker says. You don't want me siding with anything Jason Whitlock says. You know how many people slide up in my comments? I like you, but Jason hates Black people. I look at that comment like you are stupid and dumb, because your argument is weak. If that's all you got, your argument is weak. And all of these you're anti this or anti that, these accusations, they're so weak. I'm tired of seeing people just written off as being anti-Semitic for the smallest things. Like, we can't ask questions. We can't say, I noticed this, that, or the other without being labeled as racist or anti-Semitic. It sounds silly. It sounds just as silly as Black people saying it's a microaggression when a white person compliments their hair. Oh, that's a microaggression. You sound stupid. And I think for a lot of Jewish people, you sound just as dumb when you label everything as anti-Semitic. Everything is not anti-Semitic. I'm sorry. Somebody has to say it. Many of you just can't go against the actual point. So you feel like if you just paint a broad stroke, a broad anti-Semitic stroke, that'll just shut the person up. Don't invite them here to speak. They asked the question and it was anti-Semitic. Somebody right now is going to say, I'm being anti-Semitic for telling you everything is not anti-Semitic. And I don't dislike Jewish people. If you know me for real, you know I can't even point you out unless you dress from head to toe or in something that I can readily recognize. I didn't know just by looking at Ben Shapiro that he was Jewish. I had no idea. I grew up predominantly around Black people. And when I went to Baton, because my mother had me in Baton and tap and jazz, and that's when I was around white people. And for me, if you weren't Black, you were white. I didn't recognize people by last names unless it was Jenkins. Your last name was Jenkins, I could pretty much guess you probably were Black. Your first name was Tyrone, I could guess you probably were Black. But outside of that, I was clueless about that type of stuff. To some degree now, I still am. So I know for sure I don't dislike Jewish people. Can't even point them out. But somebody will call me anti-Semitic just because I ask a question or I make a statement, or because I won't walk around wrapped in an Israeli flag. I'm America first. And I'm watching people be excommunicated for thinking independently. The right has become like a bunch of Jehovah's Witnesses, thinking if you don't talk to the person, if you don't be their friend, they'll eventually be so manipulated and so worn down emotionally that they'll just acquiesce and they'll just agree with you. That's the Jehovah's Witness tactics. If a family member don't want to be Jehovah's Witness, they'll stop talking to them. I watched it happen to a good friend of mine that I met on my job at the time. She would come to visit me in church, and she was interested in learning more about the Bible, and something just didn't feel right to her about Jehovah's Witness. But she was raised as a Jehovah's Witness. I think the mother was Jehovah's Witness, the father was Christian. So the girls were raised Jehovah's Witness, but the boys actually went to church. It was something like that. And she was looking more into just going to church. And her family, her mother and her sister stopped talking to her in an effort to get her to see things their way. That's emotional manipulation. And I just think it's a weak tactic. I think it's real weak. The left cancels people for feelings. The right cancels people for opinions. We have a woke right section of people. And there's this huge fear of losing influence and donors. And it's almost like, so you dangle, this is not dangling so much, but you dangle money in somebody's face. Many of you are controlled by the dollar bill. And so you're influenced by donors. You're influenced by certain organizations. You have political pressure on you, audience expectations. I don't give a damn who is upset with me on a day-to-day basis. For the people that said, oh, I'm unfollowing you, I followed you for years, peace. Because you're not going to manipulate me into always talking about what you want to talk about. If I'm shaking my head about something, this is shaking my head with Shemeka Michelle. It's not shaking my head with whatever your name is. Something I present may make you shake your head as well. In agreement with me, you shaking your head with me like, yeah, that's some bullshit. Something else I may present on a different day, you don't have an issue with. It doesn't cause you to shake your head. But again, the show is shaking my head with Shemeka Michelle. And you shaking it with me or you shaking it against me, it's fine, but you don't get to tell me what topics I can talk about. You just don't get to. And I appreciate every super chat. I appreciate every comment, every like, even if the comment is against me, because guess what? It pushes the show. But what you would never do is get me to shut up about something. Because for the people who tried to cancel me 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, all I do is pop up somewhere else. That's all I do. I don't die, I multiply. I'm like a baby's kid. You're not gonna shut me up. And I was an only child. I grew up an only child. So I ain't never had a whole plethora of friends or a whole lot of people around me. You cannot dictate how I feel and what I talk about because you don't like it or it makes you mad one day. Oh, it hurts your feelings. I don't care about your feelings. I don't lay beside you. I don't care. You're not going to control me that way. And I give big props to Nick Fuentes, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, anybody that actually has what people call FU money. That's why I like Trump. When he ran in 2016, he didn't care about hurting people's feelings and whether people were going to give him money or not. Didn't even accept his pay, his salary. And that's why people hate him so much now. Again, I do feel like he's softened up a bit, but maybe being shot in the ear, the head can do that to you. When my house was shot up, I didn't want to stay there. I can't remember how long. It's been over 20 years, but I can't remember how long I stayed away. So I kind of understand, maybe not being as fiery right now, but he's still getting some things done. And independent voices are a threat because you just can't control them. And I love it. I don't have to agree with everything anyone says. Again, I don't even think that's possible. But I love that they're independent and they can say what they want to say. Because I believe in freedom of speech. And if you cannot combat their ideas, I just see you as weak. Free thinkers expose the truth that some conservatives care more about Israel, money, and access than they do about America first. And that's just the truth. I'm a free thinker. And I can see some of you care more about money. And I understand money answers all things. But guess what? I've never seen the righteous forsaken nor his seed begging bread. So if I want to point out, y'all care more about Israel, or y'all care more about money, or y'all care more about likes, and you want access to certain events in certain places, you care more about those things than you do America first, I'm going to call it out. I'm going to notice it, and I'm going to shake my head about it. And because this is shaking my head with Shemeka Michelle, when I shake my head at something, I am going to bring it to the show for content. Because I'm shaking my head. The show is not being nice with Shemeka Michelle. Kissing ass with Shemeka Michelle. Being a puppet with Shemeka Michelle. That's not the name of the show. So if it causes me to shake my head, it's going to be content. One day I might be shaking my head against politics. One day I might be shaking my head about ratchet black women. One day I might be shaking my head about fat people that I'm shaking my head. I'm going to bring it here. And anybody who don't like it, they just don't like it. I don't have any donors dictating my narrative. You can, as I said, super chats are always open. I'll take any donation, but you need to know it does not come with puppet strings. It doesn't come with you telling me what the hell I can and cannot say. It's not what it comes with. Because I think an independent voice is a dangerous voice. It is a powerful voice. And I support people who have true freedom of speech and don't let you make them back down. Truth threatens your profit, then too bad. Profit threatened. Because it's the truth that shall make us free. And I'm watching y'all punish free speech. Y'all are calling Candace dangerous for questioning what happened to Charlie Kirk. Dangerous? Y'all act like the girl is pushing crack to her viewers. With every view comes a pill of fentanyl or something. What? Dangerous? Y'all are so silly. She's anti-Semitic for investigating a death. The death of her friend. Sometimes y'all are just silly. You're silly and blacklist me. Listen. I don't like most of you anyway. I don't. I have a very small circle. I have had the same two best friends for over 30 years. They can deal with me and my foolishness. And guess what? When they can't, it doesn't change who I am. I wait for them to get over themselves. Just like if it's the other way around, they wait for me to get over myself, and then we move on. Y'all upset because somebody is investigating her friend's death. Her friend. Someone she traveled the country with. You don't get to tell this woman how she reacts to seeing her friend murdered. And I say the same thing about Eric Kirk. The whispering and stuff, I was like, But as someone who hasn't lost a husband in the way that we saw Charlie Kirk murdered, I don't get to tell that woman how she grieves or what she says or how she says it. You don't get to tell Candace Owens how she investigates her friend's murder. You just don't. When it comes to Tucker Carlson and people not wanting him to be platformed, you want to blacklist him? You want to accuse him of being pro-Russia, anti-America, a traitor, all of these things? You sound dumb. Because he questions war narratives? because he questions war narratives? Y'all want to drag Megyn Kelly for not denouncing Candace or Tucker. And I'm seeing people saying silly things like she just ruined her whole platform. Because you mad? She didn't ruin her whole platform. You sound stupid. You sound like a snowflake. Y'all was upset with her when she disagreed with Trump on certain issues. You know people have the right to do that, correct? People mad at the Hodge twins because they're like, some stuff just not looking quite like I thought it would look when I was campaigning and going out to vote. And y'all are treating these people like they're a problem instead of a voice. They're just a different voice. And when it comes to Nick Fuentes, you may not agree with him, but banning him from platforms, conferences, and conversations proves your hypocrisy. Y'all mad that Tucker Carlson had a conversation with him? You don't like how Tucker conducted the interview? You try to get an interview with Nick Fuentes. That's what you do. And so the pushback you want to see, be that pushback. But many of you are just sitting, being keyboard warriors, telling somebody else how to do what you ain't been able to do. You know what used to trip me out when people would say to me, Shemeka, you ain't have to say it like that. Maybe you shouldn't word your post like that. Excuse me? I am where I am because I said it like that. I could still just be on Facebook, putting my opinion out for a handful of people like those people are who try to dictate how I said something. I'm where I am because of who I am and how I said it. You don't get to police me and tell me I should have said it a certain way. Why? So I could be scooping ice at Chick-fil-A like your ass is because you said it in a way nobody gave a damn about? You have the freedom of speech to say it your way. I have the freedom of speech to say it mine. And I'm seeing people defend free speech selectively. And I'm saying it's all, don't tell me Nick Fuentes hate Black people and think that's going to get me to change if I agree with him on a certain point, or if that's going to get me to say he shouldn't be able to speak. It's not going to work. I don't need him to like me. I got a man. I'm just saying we shouldn't be banning people. We're becoming the left. We're becoming a movement that can't handle a disagreement. And a movement without dissent becomes a cult. You get mad when people refer to certain groups as a cult, but a movement without dissent becomes a cult. I don't want anybody who watches me consistently to agree with me on every single thing. This is not a cult. I don't want to be a cult leader. I don't want to be a Shemeka Jones serving y'all some Kool-Aid that's going to kill you. I'm not that person. But I do want the right to be able to speak. I do want to give other people the right to be able to speak. And a movement that punishes thought becomes very weak. A movement that's afraid of truth cannot lead a country. You can't lead a country being weak. And so while this question is in the air, what's going to happen to MAGA? What happened? This is it for Trump. What's going to happen to MAGA? A movement afraid of truth cannot lead a country. Remember that. A movement that punishes thought becomes weak. No movement survives when honesty becomes the enemy. Somebody, I'm sure, at some point disagreed with Jim Jones. Somebody at some point disagreed with David Koresh. And guess what? If they would have had enough guts to stand up, maybe those two scenarios would have had a different outcome. Maybe it wouldn't have been a cult. Now, before I get off of here today, I'm going to start on Thursday doing the Orangutan of the Week. An Orangutan of the Week award. And I'm going to tell y'all what an orangutan is. I think you can kind of figure it out by just the words, but let me see what y'all are saying here in the comment section. And I appreciate, let me tell you, you're so educated. Thank you, King Reed. I just got a warm, fuzzy feeling when I read that. Mac Daddy, what up, Shemeka? Hope you're having a dope day. I am. Thank you. What did Shemeka say about Chick-fil-A? Did I say something about Chick-fil-A? Listen, y'all, I start to I go on one and get on one sometime. What did I say about Chick-fil-A? Oh, I don't remember, y'all. I do not remember. I thank all of you headshakers for being here. We're growing. Y'all are commenting. Sharisa says, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate you all. Thank you. Snuggles668 says, America was always like that. You people didn't realize that there is nothing such as free speech, and they never was. Everything has a consequence, even speech. You put that at 2:04. We had just started, so we hadn't gotten to me breaking that down. So I'm not even gonna Sharisa said, Snuggles, who is you people? You know, I think I probably addressed Snuggles as I was talking. You know, Snuggles always laugh when somebody, I think that's the laugh of somebody when they thumb in there behind, you know. Yeah. Throwback hat is fresh, Shemeka Michelle. Thank you. Let's see what else. Let me go to let me go down. I don't see any oh, here we go. Here we go. King Reed gave a super chat of $4.99. I really appreciate that. He says Lil Nas X got the fans, then turned gay on the kids. Shaking my head. Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what happened. I didn't even, that first song, I can't remember what it is. I got the dun 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 dun, whatever it was. I liked the song. And then all of a sudden, he just started flaming. And I said, what in the world is going on? Thomas says, I'm for free speech, but when you're running down America, you're running on the fighting side of me. Yeah, and it's okay, Thomas. Fight back. That's me. If you're on the wrong side of me, I'm definitely gonna fight you. If you are, I mean, and I don't mean physical, y'all know what I mean. I'm gonna fight. I'm not gonna be quiet about it. And I will probably attack the person a little bit, but I'm gonna definitely attack their ideas. Carolyn says, my husband fought for my right to speak out. He doesn't always agree with me, but he knows it is my right. Absolutely. Pete says, Republicans are the new simps, traitor MFers. Hi, Miguel. Miguel says, what I have been telling y'all, both the right and left are both the right and left wings of the same bird of prey that's devouring us. They're one and the same. Thomas says, I like Marjorie Taylor Greene, but she only wants to stop deportations because she wants their cheap she only wants to stop she wants to stop deportations because she wants their cheap labor and their sexual services. Ooh, not their sexual services, Thomas. Wow. TJ, the conservative hustler, I don't listen to people I don't like, not cry or try to cancel anybody. Exactly. If you don't like them, just don't listen to them. Thomas says, I ain't never really liked Tucker, frat boy, or pedophile Nick Fuentes. Nick says that hair is fire, Shemeka. Thank you. Jack Burton, the race to separate Fuentes from the RNC is because he's considered a white supremacist by the general public. Is he even included with the RNC? Because I don't know. When I think about that, I think of the I don't know, the stiff and stuffies for a lot. I mean, I know it's been changing. Let's see. Okay. Y'all are having a conversation. Folks are thinking with the emotions on their sleeves, not logic. And I see we got another super chat that came in. I want to thank you. I'm going to scroll and get to it. Snuggle says, isn't being a Jew the same thing? I was being a Christian or being a Muslim. Isn't it just a religion that you can convert into and out of? Yes and no. I think that is a yes and a no question. Jack Burton says Jew is an actual ethnicity. And I do know, like I met this Jew that, I mean, there are some Jews who are Christians, like, and that's just what it is. Let me get to the ratcheting of the day. Let me get to this super chat first, because I do appreciate it. And I want to acknowledge. Here we go. Thank you. Big Al, Uncle Coon, great show as always. What's up, head shakers? Let me get to my ratcheting of the day, of the week. I don't want to say of the day. We may get to that, and God knows there's plenty to choose from. Let's see. My ratcheting of the day before we go. Let me share my screen here. Let me pull it up. Y'all got to see this. Oh, Lord have mercy. Y'all got to see this. This is my orangutan of the week. I appreciate y'all being patient with the fact that I do all of this on my own. But here we go.
Worry about it. Let me explain something to white people. Our hair comes out of our head naturally in a curly pattern. So when we're straightening it to follow your beauty standards, we are trapped by the straightness. That's why so many of us can't swim and we run away from the water. People won't go to the gym because we're trying to keep our hair straight for y'all. It is exhausting and it's so expensive and it takes up so much time. Braids are for y'all so we can work harder and focus on the work. So why do we need an act, an act of law to tell white folks to get out of our hair? Don't tell me how to wear my hair. Don't wonder about it. Don't touch it. Just don't. It just.
An orangutan is an unruly, loud, bitter, wrong Black woman. And Michelle Obama gets the Orangutan of the Week award because what she said was stupid. First of all, why is there an obsession with white people? What is that about? It makes absolutely no sense. And then Michelle says our hair grows naturally out of our scalp, curly, and when we straighten it, we are trapped by the straightness, and we are doing it for white people, all while sitting up there with straight hair. So you got up in front of a room full of Black people to talk about white people, all while wearing the straight hair that you say you only do for white people. And you say you can't go to the gym, which I guess is apparently why the body is not looking as good as it used to look. And you can't swim because of your hair, and you get braids for white. Maybe you were being facetious, but we're sick of hearing it. Michelle, your mama's hair was straight. Your hair was straight. You straightened your little girl's hair. So this whole idea that somebody else is the reason that you have to wear your hair the way that you wear it is BS. You see how I'm coming against Michelle's thoughts? She has the right to say what she wants to say. But Michelle, you aren't making sense at all. And Barack should feel real stupid as a Black man to have his Black, crooked teeth, mouth, Black woman saying she does certain things to her hair for white people. What other way could you make your husband look like a weak, soft, wussy simp than to say publicly that you get up every morning and style your hair to please somebody white, and your husband is not that? You, Michelle, get the Orangutan Award of the Week. You're loud, you're bitter, you're angry, and you're just wrong. I can't stand y'all. And I do what Barack wish he could. Anyway, I'm not condoning violence. I'm just saying sometimes I understand. I will be back here on Monday. Same place, same time, shaking my head about something else. Peace. I love you.